Hey guys, welcome to the Leverage Your Podcast show. Hi, Meg. I have with me Meg Burrage
Um,
with the Collaboration Station, and we're going to talk about collaborations. And you
Surprise,
and I have
surprise.
collaborated, Meg.
Hello, Lindsay. Thank you so much for having me on. There
I
is
know.
not really any other topic I'd prefer to talk about than
I know.
collaboration. So,
Besides templates, just kidding.
besides templates, besides Kajabi, yeah.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Yeah. So I have chatted with you before and spoke with your group as well and checked out your collaboration station. So we're gonna reverse engineer this topic and start at the beginning because collaboration really is a big word. So, like for business owners, um, how would you describe collaboration and why is it beneficial?
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I just like to keep things nice and simple when it comes to collaboration. And there are so many ways you can collaborate. So I think like the essence of it is just finding a way that is going to be a win-win for two or more people is going to be a collaboration. And you can be so creative with the
Yeah.
kinds of collaborations that you can put together. But I think as when I approach a collaboration or a discussion that I hope will end in a collaboration, it's really starting from a point of, well, what would be in it for them, rather than
Yeah.
what's going to be in it for me,
Smart.
and trying to come up with something that is going to be of equal benefit to both of you.
Agreed. And that's the key, right? Where it's a win-win. So just so that like business owners can kind of wrap their head around it, how would you describe a collaboration opportunity? Like what are some ways that podcasters can collaborate or business owners can collaborate?
Yeah. I've got my own podcast, and I have to say, Lindsay, like until you came on and spoke about pod swaps, I hadn't done much as far as collaboration on podcasts
Yeah.
goes. But, a couple of other collaboration strategies that I think everyone would be super familiar with would be things like a virtual summit, speaking on
Mm,
somebody's summit, or one of these digital bundles. We've got digital bundles everywhere at the moment, contributing to somebody's digital bundle. In the podcast space, it might be that you go and speak on somebody's podcast and give value to their audience, and then they come and talk on your podcast and give value to your audience. So it's really, it can be anything. And I think people sort of get in their own way around collaboration and, prevent themselves from having success because they get all up in their heads about not
true.
being at a point in their business where they're ready to collaborate or have enough to offer to the collaboration. And what I just love about collaboration is there's just so many ways that you can cut it up and slice it up, and it's just the opportunities are endless when it comes to collabs.
That's true. And I think besides like affiliate links and like I share a service of yours or a master class that you're doing and give an affiliate link, like that to me is like the obvious way, but you totally can get creative. um and so for you, like what have you done collaboration wise, or even your clients within collaboration station, which of course we'll talk about in a little bit,
Yeah.
like any
I mean,
success
my
stories
one
that
of
you've
my
heard?
yeah, something that I heard just recently was a really good joint webinar that two of our members put together.
Mm.
So they both work with a similar audience but have a different offering. And so what they did was they created a joint webinar and invited both of their email lists to come along to this webinar, and then bundled an offer, at the end, so that they received one lady's course and then
Mm.
another lady's, additional training and templates and things. So it was this sort of bundled opportunity to get both of their things at the same low price, which
Yeah.
isn't normally available. And
No.
and I love that bundle approach to things. For me in my own business, one of my favorite ways to collaborate with people, because I sell courses and coaching, and something that I often struggle with when I'm going through a launch is what to have as a bonus that goes with my course or my
Oh
coaching.
yeah.
So often I will reach out to industry peers who have like a cool digital product or a training on something I know nothing about, and ask them if we can, include their little mini products and offers as the bonuses with my course. And then obviously we organize like a wholesale rate to pay them for every person who signs up for my training. But I find that, that in itself makes my course and my training look so much more valuable, because it comes with all these other known people's cool things. It's a really easy way to collaborate. And so many people think, oh, no one would want to collaborate with me because I've got no email list. But a collaboration like that doesn't require an email list. You could be going through a launch with not really any audience at all. And if I'm going to reach out to some industry peers and say, hey, could I buy like 30 of your templates at wholesale to include for, people who no one's going to say no to that.
Right?
They don't care what your list size is. So, that is a perfect win-win where list size doesn't really come into it. And there are lots of examples like that.
I love that example. And of course, it's a win-win for the other person, because they're getting their thing purchased at a wholesale rate. But when other people do buy your product, they're going to learn about that other person and their services and obviously be curious. So they're able to tap into an audience that is totally warm, that they normally wouldn't be able to. I've never even thought of doing that. I love that. So
I call it the be the bonus strategy.
Ooh.
And you can, as the person who is just getting started, maybe you're not quite ready to go and launch your big signature offer just yet, but perhaps you've got already little products or little workshops, recorded workshops, or things where you could be the bonus in somebody else's program, so it can easily work both ways. And, if you can be the bonus in somebody else's stuff, just the eyeballs on the sales page alone bring so much more traffic to your website. Even those people who look at the sales page and perhaps don't join that person's program, they go down, they have a look at the bonuses, they see you there and all your amazing inclusion. And, it's like instant credibility to be on somebody else's sales page.
Yeah. I love that creativity. Again, like you said, like there's so many different options out there. So you brought up something when someone doesn't have a list. So like, are there any requirements, if you will, to start any kind of collaboration? Like, do you have to have a certain service or product or referral program, or can just anyone really take advantage of that strategy?
I think really anybody can take advantage of it, but it always does come down to building the relationships with the people first so that you get those opportunities. We see plenty of people come into our space over on Collaboration Station who start with like zero list, like they are right at the beginning. And we've sort of figured out now what the typical success path is for people getting started. Like it is usually participating in one of those bundles. So if they've got like a little digital product, or can create a little digital product that's quick to create and isn't going to take them months, and then they participate in a bundle, they usually grow their list by a couple of hundred people just, through that one collaboration. Then from there, if they're like pretty good at speaking and feel like they could talk as an expert on a topic, then a next natural step would be to go and speak on a summit. And there's so many virtual summits around looking for speakers. And usually as a virtual summit speaker, you'll get the opportunity to share a freebie with the audience. So there's another few hundred people on your email list. And then, it's nurturing those relationships with your fellow virtual summit speakers and your fellow bundle contributors, and plenty of them will have, other memberships where they need guest speakers to come in, or they've got a podcast and they're looking for guests. And it's really just, making sure that you are, I guess, putting the time and the effort into carrying that collaboration through into future things. It's not just a one and done, but it's like, okay, well, here's just like the first step of what this collaboration, relationship could become, and really making the time to connect with people and explore what future collaborations can come out of it afterwards.
Yeah, that's really key. You don't want it to feel like a transactional experience. You want it to be like an ongoing relationship, especially when like two businesses are serving the same audience. Like
Mm,
you would want to foster that and keep it going because it's always going to benefit each other.
absolutely. Yeah. I know I see lots of people also who join Collaboration Station without an affiliate program, and something I'd always thought before was, oh, you've got to have an affiliate program. But I actually see plenty of people have success without one, and just setting up even just trusted referral type, very loose agreements, where if
Yeah.
somebody refers someone, they might just sort of behind the scenes send them a little bit of money or a gift card or, something to say thank
Yeah.
you. But there's lots of collaborations you can do without having your own affiliate program. And there's lots of collaborations you can do as an affiliate for others, So if you're not really at the stage yet where you're ready to put together your own affiliate program, there's so many easy ways to get involved as an affiliate in other people's stuff.
Yes. Agreed. I do that myself. Any tools that I use, I always get their
Mhm.
affiliate links. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's easy money, right?
Easy
Um,
money.
and I
Even
believe in
when,
the
like,
product, so why not recommend them?
for
Um,
sure. And
yeah,
we
and some
can't
of
do
them I have
everything.
relationships with the owners. I've had like the owners on my or the co-founders on my podcast and chatted to them, and so it's been fun for me.
Yeah. And I think we can't always be creating and launching our own stuff, because that's exhausting.
Yeah, it
Sometimes
is.
it's like actually way easier to sell somebody else's stuff. If
True.
you know their product, if you've been through their training, you can do like a little mini promotion, maybe a joint webinar with that person, bring them in as a guest, share your affiliate link, get the commission from the sales, and then you get to hand the people all over. It's like, okay, I've done my part. You coach them for the next 12 weeks. I'm going to take a few months off.
So true. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, you're totally right. So how do you approach someone? Like, how do you get the ball rolling with someone without it feeling kind of like out of the blue and kind of awkward?
Mm. And I'm sure everyone listening to your podcast, Lindsay, is like, oh, I get so many cold pitches and I just want to like delete them. Those cold pitch, horrible emails that turn up through
Yes.
your website contact form every day. I'm just like, oh, how do these people find me? Ugh. But uh,
Right.
but but there are, people who will reach out to me where I will absolutely entertain a chat. And, where I'm more likely to make time for someone is if they reach out to me with an actual idea. I'm
Mm.
less likely to want to jump on a call and explore collaborations if someone just reaches out to me and says, hey, I think what you do is really interesting. Do you want to have a coffee chat? That's like, we're all busy. Like I got 5,000 things on my to-do list today.
Right.
But if somebody reaches out to me with an actual idea, for a collaboration that they would like to explore, and they've done a little bit of research and they,
Yes.
I don't want them to write me an essay, but if they can just give me like a couple of key points and something that immediately is going to like spark my interest to make me think, oh, there could be something in this, then I'm much more likely to jump on a call with someone.
I agree. And I think that it makes it feel like, okay, they have a vested interest and they understand what I do. They care about what I do. They're not reaching out to me for me to figure it out for them. It's like they have an idea. And
Yeah.
also, if they express, like, hey, we both serve a similar audience, but we have different, products, maybe there's a way we can like work together. At least I
Mm.
get, like you said, they've actually put some thought through. Um, and yeah,
I
and
think,
just to have a chat and like if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like at least you've
yeah.
explored the opportunity.
A few of the sort of out of the blue chats I've been on lately, which have worked really well, have come about through referrals.
Mm.
I was talking to someone, a coach, a couple of months back, and he likes to host what he calls intro parties. So you schedule some time in his calendar. Really cool guy. You jump onto a call. He's got this whole fancy spreadsheet he brings up, Lindsay, and he takes you through intro party, which is like he asks you all about, your main services and offers and, what he does. And he tries to look for ways where you could collaborate with him. But then in addition, he just like on the call brainstorms 3 people where he thinks you would be like a good fit
Ooh,
collaboration wise with them, and then does the email introduction while you're on the call. This is like his whole
what?
intro party structure. It's so good. But then, whether if he connects you via email or via something like Instagram in a DMs, you're so much more likely to go and get on the call with someone if it comes via a trusted referral person. If he says, oh, you need to go and talk to Dana, then I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah,
Lily need to go and talk to Dana, and she hears from him with the introduction and she makes time. So I think if you can strategically start to find ways where you ask people in your conversations, like, hey, do you know of anyone that I should be talking to about this,
yeah.
and see if you can get them to do some referrals, because it's so much more likely to end well, if it comes from someone that's trusted.
Agreed. And then that's why too I like podcasting. It's like if there's someone that's again serving a similar audience, but they do something slightly different, I like their topic. I'm like, ooh, of course I'm going to invite them onto my podcast if it serves my audience, and then kind of like feel them out. Like, what do they do in their business? What is their bread and butter? What did they
Yeah.
focused on? What kind of clients are they looking at? So you can kind of like, it's like your foot in the door, right? To like have
Yeah.
those conversations.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think we need to look for more foots indoors, Lindsay.
Yes.
So-
Well, speaking of a big foot indoor, of course, tell us about Collaboration Station and what made you create it in the first place.
Well, Collaboration Station came about, the idea was sparked last year, so around about October. And I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking to myself, am I going to just like create Kajabi templates forever? Like, surely I could think of something more useful than that, to the
Yeah.
ecosystem of entrepreneurs. And I started to ask myself, well, what was it that made my business successful? And I looked back over the last few years and I landed on, it was collaboration. It was all the partnerships that I set up and the relationships that I built from the early days, because I had no list. I really suck at Facebook ads. So I always say to people, if you find me on an ad, it's a miracle, because I have no idea what I'm doing on the ads platform. But collaborations just made it possible for me to reach audiences that I
Yeah.
never would have reached otherwise. And I thought, why isn't everyone getting involved in collaborations? And where do you go to, find a central place where you can find people who are keen to collaborate without having to go through all the cold pitch emails, and oh goodness, that's like the last thing that I wanted to do. So, but we just need a central spot. We just need a
Yeah.
one, a home of
A hub.
collaboration where people can come and find like-minded creators who are looking to do something similar and looking for the virtual summit speakers and the bundle contributors and affiliate armies and all the things that go with collaboration. So it just sort of started from there and snowballed into something that, just got a life of its own now, Lindsay. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I love it. So kind of walk us through it. So once you sign up, like, do you see all the other, like, you have your own profile? Can you, like, how do
Yeah,
you
you get
look for opportunities, or what kind of opportunities can you look it when you're in there?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, I thought the directory side of it would be the most important bit. I actually think that is like, now it's funny, a few months later, you're like, oh, actually, well, I got that wrong.
Oh,
Everyone does get a
interesting.
profile, but I don't think many people actually spend a lot of time on the directory looking at
Hmm.
the profiles. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, you do get a profile. But in addition to that, it's things like, we go out into the market and look for collaboration opportunities that are currently open for application.
Ah.
So we go and look for the summits that need the speakers and the bundles that need the contributors, and we put them all on the calendar so that people can apply for opportunities that they feel they're suited to. And then it's things like collaboration coaching sessions and
Mm.
mixes and co-working, so that if you don't know how to apply to be on a virtual summit, we can help you with your application. So, what started as, oh, it's just going to be like a directory and people will find collaborations on it, became like much more focused on community and the actual
Interesting.
coaching side, because, we just really underestimated the level of knowledge that people were going to have around collaboration. Like most people have no clue. They just come on there,
No.
they're overwhelmed, no idea where to start. And, it's become a lot more of a, we just realized early on, we're going to have to really like hold everyone's hand and help them
Yeah.
through this process to get their first collaborations, off the ground.
What
So
a
yeah,
great
it's
idea.
a lot more now around the coaching and community than the directory. And now it's actually it's moving into what I'm calling phase 2, which is collaboration management. So for all those people who
Ooh.
are, wanting to collaborate, and perhaps they already have affiliates that are completely neglected, and they just need help with getting it done for them, basically, because
Yeah.
they love the idea of it, but not enough time to put into it themselves.
I love that it has grown and morphed so much just over the like a year.
Yeah.
And you're so right. It's like people need, I feel like they don't have that sense of confidence when they
Mm.
are applying for something, or maybe they're not showcasing themselves or positioning themselves or even their topics in the right way to get a yes on those
Mm.
opportunities. So for
Yeah.
you to like extend it and have that educational platform and that sense of community is amazing. And
Mm.
you're so right. When it comes to like partner promotion, I work with a few clients that have a lot of partners that promote her stuff, and I don't take part in that part, but it's a lot to do. So many moving parts.
Yeah, I know. I think every time I create something in business, Lindsay, I think I just created it for myself, because I'm like, oh, I am my own avatar, but I have an amazing group of affiliates, but I never get a chance to touch base with them or
Mhm.
tell them the promotion is coming up or organize the swipe copy or the graphics or all those things where you're like, oh, I know I need to do that. But if you're a one-woman operator, like, when do you find the time?
You
So
can't.
it's like, okay, maybe I can be our first client on the done for you management side of
Yeah.
things. But yeah, I see definitely a need among the members for, just them wanting to get involved in all of this stuff and just being
Yeah.
so short on time that they can't.
Absolutely. And even like tracking the opportunities and then what you
Mm.
need from that, and like what are the requirements? How many emails are you supposed to send it out? And like there are so many details, and then tracking the results.
Yeah,
Like it
all of
can be a
that, all of
beast.
that. I know, absolutely. So yeah, it has evolved. It's a long way from where I thought it was going to go. It's like it's been just a continual evolution. We include something and we think everyone's going to love this, and then no one does. We're like, oh, okay, back to the drawing board. We'll take that
Yeah.
out. We'll put this in. Oh yeah, everyone likes that. Okay, so it's just one of those startup type things where you
Yeah.
have to listen to the members and iterate. Basically, it's
Yeah.
just one big iteration.
Right. Totally. So here's a question.
Mm.
How do you know what to say yes to? Because you don't want to apply for everything, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is FOMO, so you feel like you should apply for
Mhm.
everything. But
Yep.
how do you know what to pick, and how do you know when to say no?
Yeah. I think especially if you're trying to also sell, promote your own things, it can be very easy to like completely, I guess, spread yourself too thin with trying to do your own stuff and trying to
Mhm.
promote other people's things. And you don't want your list to only be hearing from you about a promotion,
No.
like they want the value pieces, or you're going to have a whole bunch of unsubscribes. So these days I try and only get involved in like one or two affiliate style promotions or collaborations a quarter.
Smart.
And little ones, like if it's a big affiliate style of promotion, like every year I get involved in James Wedmore's Business by Design program, but that's like a massive launch. And I would only get involved in that as an affiliate once a year,
Yeah.
because it takes weeks of
Yeah.
preparation to be involved on that scale. And then, just making sure that you're balancing it with your own stuff. And, it's usually, I mean, often there's not huge list requirements to get involved in these collaborations, that it sometimes they'll want you to
Yeah.
have a list, but more often than not, you can speak on a summit or participate in a bundle without having, thousands of people on your email list. but they will ask you, you know, to make sure that during a set date you are promoting to whatever list you've got, and that you're promoting it on social. And if you're applying for everything, it can be really easy to accidentally like overlap those promotional
Yes.
periods. And it's like, oh my goodness, I got to be promoting this summit and this bundle like at exactly the same time. And this is like exactly the time when I was going to be launching my own thing. And, you know, I think it's important to have a tracker, even if it's just like a simple spreadsheet
Yeah.
where you've got the dates on it. And anytime you apply for something, or even before you apply, you have a look at the promotional requirements. Then go and look at your calendar and make sure that that actually is going to fit in, because, you know, it doesn't work out well if you put your hand up for something and you get accepted and then you withdraw. You know, that never looks good for
No.
and, you know, if you want future opportunities to come about. So you want to, you know, be able to follow through on it after you apply for something. And then I think it's a matter of making sure that those things that you do apply for, you are actually aligned with it, you know, because there's no point in growing your list with hundreds of the wrong people,
Right.
you know, so they're not going to buy your stuff anyway. And they're probably going to unsubscribe and, you know, you know, the issues with it,
affect your
Lindsay.
email deliverability and all that good stuff.
All that stuff. So you got to be like picky, and there's so many opportunities out there that, you know, you can say no and have something else float across your desk the following week that's going to be the perfect fit. So I think people don't need to worry too much about like, oh, this is the only opportunity I'm going to get. It's like, no, if it's not right, you know, as my husband says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, you know, just if it's not right, say no. And that's just going to leave you open for opportunities that are a much better fit.
Yeah. Great advice. What are some of the mistakes that you've seen within the collaboration space?
I think the biggest challenge I see people come across is when they get into a collaboration where I guess maybe it could be something to do with the values, you know, of the two people collaborating, but it's just out of alignment, or what people are expecting out of the collaboration is not clear, you know, and so people are either they feel uncomfortable throughout the collaboration process, and then, you know, it doesn't end well because one half doesn't do what they said they were going to do, or the expectations are, you know, not aligned, no agreement, like written agreement that sort of clearly outlines who's going to do what. And it's very easy to jump to conclusions around, oh, I'm going to do this and they're going to do that, and then, you know, you get upset when they don't do what you thought they were going to do. So I think, you know, I don't often use a written like legal agreement, but I do put things in writing, usually quite clearly in my emails, and like really outline things just so we're all clear on how it's going to work. Because, you know, I have jumped into collaborations in the past where I've been pretty disappointed after, you know, you do all the work and you think, oh, where were they? Like that was a whole lot of work on my part. And then I had to go and, you know, give away however much revenue you've determined between you. So, you know, I've got a friend who is a lawyer, and she creates legal templates for online business owners. And she always says, if you wouldn't do it on a handshake, like don't do it. You know, like a legal agreement is great, but if you don't get that gut feel in your initial chat that you could do it without a legal agreement and that everything would be fine, then it's probably like a red flag, don't do it type situation.
So true, man. I wish I like had to listen to my gut earlier on. It's like as you get older, you listen to it a little bit more. But and even I've like taken a little baby step. It's like, okay, let's do this. And then like see how that goes. And then okay, then we can do this next. You know what I mean? That's maybe bigger and more work involved. Just to kind of like test those waters. Cause again, everyone maybe they overextended themselves and didn't have the time, or you know, some people they just don't follow through. Like who knows, right? So you kind of want to make sure that, like you said, you're aligned.
Absolutely. You know, and I think something that it's hard to do, but you know, when you get into a collaboration and you see it going sideways, I don't think there's anything wrong with not completing whatever it is that you were going to do, you know, like bailing basically. I think it's okay to bail. And just to say, look, this is like not how I imagined it was going to go. And, you know, this is, you know, however you're going to explain it. But I mean, even recently, we at Collaboration Station, we spent a couple of $1,000s to sponsor an event that's coming up. And it just became clear as we were going through it, like, this isn't going to work out well for us. It's just the people that it's going to attract are not going to be the right kind of people. And as much as we would love to be involved in this event, because, it's a big event, I was like, no, this is not going to work. So,
Good for you.
we just, so we had to pull the pin on that. And I think it is okay in, situations like that to just
Agreed.
really look at it and assess, is it going to be a benefit to both of you? And if it's not, then, it doesn't matter if you can't follow through on it in certain circumstances like that. You just have to have the awkward conversation sometimes.
Yes, you do. Because it's like you have to look after yourself and your business and your time and your money. It's like, you got to do what's right for you. Love it. So how can people take advantage of your services? How can they get involved with the Collaboration Station, and what does that look like?
Okay, well, they should head to collaborationstation.co. I couldn't have the .com. Someone else had that. So we're a .co, but they should jump on over there and they can absolutely get started for free. We're just this week actually introducing a completely free plan, like a free forever plan. So come on over there and join us over in the Collaboration Station community. We've got an awesome little private community of members and, lots of fun networking and support type activities happening over there. So start there. And then, if you feel like you want to take it to the next step, you can always reach out to us if you want us to help you with the collaboration and affiliate management side of things.
I love that. And you're very hands-on with the group. So you're always available for questions or support or help. And so love that you're like that. It's really nice. You're a good leader.
We're workaholics, but thankfully I also have a lovely community manager, Courtney, over there. Yes, who's looking after everyone. But it's a really special place where we're enjoying the community side.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about collaboration. Again, for podcasters out there, having a guest on your show or guesting on other shows, that totally puts your foot in the door for collaborations. But you do need more than that, right? So to go to collaborationstation.co for sure to get more opportunities, connect with more people, and be a part of a bigger community. I feel like collaboration is such an easier way to build your business without, like you said, dealing with Facebook ads and that cost.
Absolutely. And, these days we might bolster the collaborations with ads on top, if we, there's no harm in doing that. But I think when you are just getting started, trying to figure out ads is like, if you can grow your business with collaborations first, that is a much easier route than trying to figure out ads.
Agreed. Thank you so much. And I appreciate
Lindsay.
all you do. And thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, folks. We'll see you next week on the Leverage Your Podcast show.